The following program, Live and Learn, is made possible by Aging Partners. Find out more on their website.
Hello everyone and welcome to Live and Learn. I'm your host, Jerry Renaud. Aging Partners has a new hire. It's the new community health fitness educator and personal trainer, Tito Vigan. He's here with us today to talk about all of his life and how he ended up at Aging Partners. It's fascinating. Don't go away.
Do you enjoy nature, especially an area that's close by and still native? I'm Doug Jose. Stay tuned for a discussion of the Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Center and the new acquisition, which will result in a trail all the way from Spring Creek to Pioneers Park.
Hello and welcome to Live and Learn. I'm your host, Jerry Renaud. There is a new high school in Lincoln, Nebraska. It is the first public school that was not named after a direction, but named after an individual. It is from the Ponca chief Standing Bear that the high school was named. Here with us today to talk about the significance of naming that school after Chief Standing Bear is Lincoln author Joe Starita. You don't want to miss it. Don't go away.
This and more on today's Live and Learn.
Hello everyone and welcome to Live and Learn. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. We have a wonderful guest for you today. It is Tito Vigan. He is the new community health educator and personal fitness trainer at Aging Partners. And we want to introduce you to him. He'll be somebody that will be teaching the classes. He is somebody that you can work with over at the fitness center at Aging Partners. And he's really an interesting guy and a good guy. And we want to introduce you to him. Tito, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Good, good. Well, to say the least, you had an interesting path to get to Aging Partners. I just think is truly fascinating. And so let's talk about a few of those things before we get to what you're actually going to be doing at Aging Partners. So you grew up in Africa.
Yes, you got that right.
In a place, I think it's called Togo, looks like to go, Africa.
Yep.
So tell us what that was like.
Togo is a small country in West Africa. The weather is tropical.
Nice, I like that.
I grew up in Lomé, which is the capital, and it's set by the ocean. It's about like 9 million people.
Wow.
Yeah, and growing up was really hard, and it was tough because I lost my parent at early age, and then I have 3 brothers and 1 sister, and I remember losing both my parents at early age. It was hard on everybody, so my sister had to drop out of school, to take on 2 or 3 jobs to raise or support us, which wasn't really easy because she alone cannot cover the expenses and the costs. So we have to, my brothers and I, we had to skip school to go look for jobs at construction work site, either helping or just helping moving concrete.
Yeah. And
one of our favorite jobs is to go help vendors on street vendors and outdoor market places. It's kind of like a farmer's market, but a bigger version of a farmer's market where there's a lot of vendors and street vendors and buyers and sellers. So we'll help them set up the table and then food and everything. And at the end of the day, they'll give us a little bit of food and then exchange it for money, with
Very
money.
Good. Yeah.
So
very cool. So it's an interesting place language-wise, is it not? You speak a number of languages, and I think some of that came about from being in Africa there.
Yeah. There's a multiple language, spoken. We got French, Mina, which is Ewe, and we got Kabye. It just keep going on and on.
Wow. Interesting times. So, did you have any interest in fitness at that point in time in Africa?
Oh yes, I did. My brothers and I, because we love exercising so much that we made a weight out of concrete, and
wow.
Just playing with it all day long. So that was really cool.
Huh, okay, so an interesting start there. Okay, let's move on a little bit because you had a job, and I think this is just, I don't even know how to describe this job and what it must be like, but you were a security guard on an oil tanker, and your job was to look for pirates. Now that sounds just incredibly dangerous.
It is. It is. Like I said earlier, you cannot underestimate, the power of somebody who got nothing to lose. Like growing up, it was already rough. So, we were desperate. We were just trying to make it through. It was a survival mode. So we were ready to do everything. But it was a scary job, and it was also a really, fun job. Because you go on the sea for 3 months, and working on a ship, and you come back for a month, and then you go again. It was one of the coolest, things that I ever done in my life, because we get to work on a ship from all over the world. Philippines, India, German, France. We get to hang out with different people, different from different background, and most importantly, try different food.
Right. Yeah, you said that was a great way to learn how to adapt into a new location, and understand what people were eating.
Yes, you got that right.
Okay, so you're on the ship, you're doing this, and you're sort of having fun, I guess. And on one of these trips back home, you met this woman, and that changed your life. Tell us about that.
My wife and I, we met on a blind date set up by my brother and his girlfriend. I remember on our first date, we just sat on the beach, eating potato chip and just talk about our differences, our values and character, and how we're gonna move, forward. Just talking about the future, and it was a mind blowing, because I just met the person.
Right.
Moving forward, she, we both know that, we knew back then that we're gonna be together.
Right. So you're in Africa and you meet this girl from Omaha, Nebraska, who is there teaching English, I guess is what it is, and you make this connection, and you decide the opportunity is so great that you want to come to the United States. So you end up in San Francisco. And what did you do in San Francisco?
Actually, when I landed, I moved with my in-law, which is not San Francisco, but I moved straight to Lincoln, Nebraska. Oh. It was kind of like a tryout. So I lived with my folks for a month before I moved to San Francisco. Oh, okay. But I remember when I got here first, to Lincoln, Nebraska, it was mid-December, and the next day snowed.
Oh, yes.
I was really, really, for somebody who grew up in a tropical, never experienced this winter, I was cold, tired, and exhausted.
I grew up here, and I'm cold and tired and exhausted during the winter, so I understand.
My in-law, they were worried about me, and they were like, oh, you brought this guy. You sure about that? They didn't think I was going to make it, but, I understand that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I was going to make it if it wasn't for, the fact that I know that, I got nothing to lose. This is the move for me, I'm all in, all out.
Right. Right. Yeah, and you were on an interesting visa because it was a 90-day fiancé visa, so you had to decide in 90 days, is this the woman for me or isn't it? And you decided that it was, and everything has worked out great. You lived in San Francisco for a while. You also had another interesting job there where you worked on Alcatraz.
Yeah, when I moved to San Francisco, I was intern with the National Park Service. And one of the job is to work in Alcatraz every day. And then the job description was about to preserve the historic landmark, Alcatraz. So we take the boat every day and just go and work all day long and take the boat back, which was surprisingly, an amazing job, thinking about 5,000, tourists every day on the island. I feel like that's the right place to be. It was really cool.
Yeah. Okay. You made your way back to Lincoln, I think your wife wanted to be a little closer to her parents. And you took some interesting jobs. You were a fitness trainer at a couple of the places here in town. And then something happened that also, I'm guessing, was a little change in your life where you became paralyzed.
Yeah, that was surprisingly, it hasn't been that long ago. It was March 6th, 2023, and I was getting ready for a bodybuilding competition, and just collapsed, working out, and I was paralyzed from the waist down, and it was due to a stroke down the spinal cord. Spent about 3 weeks, a month at the hospital, and ended up, doing a lot of physical therapy. Then I was in a wheelchair for a little while, and moved from a wheelchair to a forearm crutches. Moved from that to like a cane, using a cane. I made it out, because I was a personal trainer. I was a hard worker, but not only that, I had all the best, people in my corner. I have like nice friends, family, all the, skilled physical therapists.
Right. So. Yeah, it's sort of one of these incidents sometimes where people realize how valuable life is, how short it can be, and how it can change in an instant. You're a pretty strong-willed person in that regard. To have gone through that and to come out, and now you say that you're pretty much back to normal at this point in time.
Thank you. Almost there.
Almost.
There.
Okay.
Almost
Well, nobody
there.
really wants.
Slowly but surely.
Nobody wants to be totally normal. Okay, so you sort of had this epiphany with your wife's parents. They're a little older, obviously, and you sort of started working with them and seeing where the importance and the value of fitness for older folks as well is so important.
Moving back to Lincoln, we knew we want to be close to my wife's parent, and if possible, even live with them. So I took a job, working as a personal trainer at Genesis Health Club, and one of the things, is that I love the most is coming back home and be able to help them. Either, my father-in-law had a hip replacement. And even though he was going, through a physical therapy, I was there to strengthen, with, him, giving him like exercise. Either it's like stretching him out, and helping my mother-in-law at the same time. Kind of make me realize that I wanted to do something more, more helping like seniors as much as I can, not
Sure.
just both of them. But yeah, I want to upgrade it.
Right. Very good. So you are a personal fitness trainer, so that's going to be at least part of what you're going to be doing at Aging Partners. So if anybody goes down to the fitness center, they can come in and say, come help me. But you're also going to be teaching some of the classes. Is that a sort of a new thing for you? You looking forward to that?
That's kind of super excited. I'm really excited about it, be able to either substitute for a Qigong classes, and getting ready to early December, I'll be teaching yoga and to seniors, and also getting ready to be teaching a strong body. Few classes. That's what I was looking for. So it's really exciting. Looking forward to it.
Have you had much background in yoga, or done it for a while, or Qigong, or is it kind of a new thing, and are you excited about that?
It is new, and even it is sort of new things, that new direction that I want to head out. So I'm heading to, and then knowing me, I'm always about learning new things and then putting them to skill.
Right. Very good. Well, we are absolutely delighted that you're going to be at Aging Partners. I am very much looking forward to taking some of your classes, and I'm guessing that you will be creating some newer classes as well in some areas where you have some expertise as well.
Yeah, I think everybody is excited in in the health and fitness department, about me joining and pitching as much as as much as I can. So we're looking forward to me just teaching some of those classes and then substitute as much as I can.
Very good. Tito, thanks for coming by today and giving our audience a chance to get to know you, and I'm sure they'll get to know you a little bit better as the time goes on. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome, Jerry. Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, it's never too late to live and learn.
Aging Partners has relocated to Victory Park, 600 South 70th Street, just east of the old VA hospital. Follow the signs around the south part of the building complex and enter under the Aging Partners sign on the east side of the facility. The new fitness center is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and fitness equipment. Caseworkers and resource specialists are available to assist you with a variety of aging issues. Enjoy a hot lunchtime meal and engage with others in a variety of activities. Aging Partners, now at Victory Park.
The Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Center was established in 1998 out near Denton, Nebraska, and recently they acquired an additional 320 acres of land. Welcome to Live and Learn. My name is Doug Jose, and my guest today is Kevin Poague, who is the operations manager at Spring Creek. And Kevin, tell us a little bit about the background here, how this acquisition came about.
Well, it was just north of our property. And the people that owned it, they've all moved away, and they've grazed cattle there for many years. And so the family decided to sell the land, but they wanted it left as a grassland. They loved the prairie, they loved the area, and they wanted to have it to stay that way. And so they approached Audubon, wanting to know if we would be able to buy it from them. And so that's kind of how it started. They contacted us, and since it was right on our north boundary, we thought what a great opportunity to protect more native tallgrass prairie, in addition to what we already have. And so that's how it kind of got started.
So this is 320 acres, which will be added to, how large is the current?
We're at 850 acres right now. So we're going to go up to about 1,160, 1,170 acres. That's going to be amount of land that we have right now.
And one of the partners in this transaction was Solidago Conservatory.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us about that. What their situation is.
Yeah. Well, they're a group of people that they're a land conservation organization. They came out of the Lincoln Parks Foundation, the Lincoln Parks and Rec Department. A group of people got together that wanted to look at protecting the greenways around Lincoln. Like Wilderness Park and the salient wetlands and such like that. And so a group of people got together to help raise funds, to help protect some of the green areas around the city and in the county.
So they were partners in terms of financing the acquisition.
Yes, very much so.
Well, let's look at the map first of all, and of what you have here. So the large square is the existing Spring Creek Prairie, and then just to the north of it is a rectangle of the additional 320 acres.
That's right. The large square in the middle, that's kind of the original purchase, about 610 acres back in 1998. And we've added additions since then. And the rectangle at the top is 310 acres, and that was a purchase this year. And as you can see, it abuts our area right to the north. And so we can take down the fence between the two areas and have a continuous tallgrass prairie right there. So we're very excited about it.
So the ultimate goal, let's look at the next map. The ultimate goal is to have a trail all the way from there to Pioneers Park.
That's right. This is the Prairie Corridor on Haynes Branch. And I want people to know this is conceptual, the map you're seeing right now. It does extend, it eventually wants to extend from Spring Creek Prairie north to Pioneers Park. And our section is done at Spring Creek Prairie. We finished it this summer. Actually, the summer of 2020 is our section was done. And it went to our north boundary. Now with our addition of this north property, we can extend the trail north through the new property and even north from there into an area that's now in a conservation easement. And so we are going to in the next year or two, we're going to extend our section of the trail north. And there are still areas that are on the map that do not have trails yet. They're still working with landowners, talking with them about easements on their land for the trail. And so there are areas around Denton that are done in Pioneers Park, but not everything is done yet. So we're hoping within, maybe 10 or 20 years.
So this is a long-term project then to complete the whole trail.
Yes, that's right. It's going to take a number of years before all the sections are done, but we're very hopeful to do that.
Let's talk a little bit about the things that happen out there at Spring Creek. Give us a little summary of activities this past year.
Well, it's been a big year. This is our 25th anniversary, and so we've done a number of things. We had a very successful Taste in the Tall Grass, which is our annual fall fundraiser.
Which I was there.
Oh yes, it was great weather.
Enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it's great fun to do every year. We had a record number of amount of money raised this year, so we're very happy about that. We had very successful field trips with schools in the spring and fall. Especially in the fall, we do a prairie immersion with half the fourth graders of the Lincoln Public School System come out, and they do a Prairie Day each fall. We've been working with a lot of improvements at the Nature Center building. We've put in some automatic doors. We have a new machine shed. We have a new storage shed. We have lots of new additions and improvements to the visitor center building itself. So it's been a really busy year for us.
So how many total visitors would you get in a year there?
Oh, we say probably roughly between 12 and 15,000. That includes regular visitors that come, like tourists that come to visit the Prairie. We have school groups, we have rentals, we have programs we do every month, ranging from bird watching to wildflower identification, lots of family programs looking at bugs and birds and all the critters that live out there. And so between all these visitors, we get lots of, and students will come out to do projects. Master's degree students will do their research out there. So all different sorts of people will come out throughout the year to visit.
So if someone comes out there just to look around and walk the trails, is there assistance to sort of guide them and enjoy the Prairie?
It's actually self-guided. The trails are open throughout the year, free admission, sunrise to sunset. And we have maps available. We have people in the building that can answer questions. People want to come out and walk around. We do offer guided nature tours for groups. If you want to call us ahead of time and schedule a tour for your group, we can certainly do that. There's a charge for that. Otherwise, it's free admission for everyone to come out and walk around and see the place.
What happens in the wintertime?
We're open. The trails are open. It's great to come out when it's cold and snowy. I can see animal tracks in the snow. It's really quiet. You get nice, peaceful walks around the area, and so it's a great time to come out in the winter. You bet.
Give us a little rundown on the staff that are there. Your job is operations manager, which I presume involves sort of the business side?
Yeah, I kind of help staff the building. I pay bills, I deposit money, I answer the emails, and just kind of make sure there are people there at the building when visitors could come. We have a center director, Megan Sittler. She's our director. We have a great education staff, several full-time people, and we have some seasonal educators that help with our field trips. And we have several on our habitat management. You can imagine with 1,160 acres, there's a lot of work to do with keeping the prairie in really good condition. And so we have people that will go out and take out trees, and we do prescribed burns and do lots of habitat activities for the prairie. And volunteers too. We have lots of volunteers that help us throughout the year on many different types of projects.
So the fundraiser is primarily to support then the staff members that are in the basic operation of the center?
Yes, that's right. It supports the staff and the equipment that we have to manage the prairie, the school, field trip equipment that we have, all sorts of management of the prairie we do through fundraisers. And we raise all of our money locally we get no tax money at all. We raise it ourselves, and so that's a lot of work as well. But we've been very fortunate to be very successful at that.
So acquiring more property then is an additional fundraising activity?
Well, we're not really looking. We're looking to expand our property. This new property we got this year just kind of happened out of the blue, and so we're not really actively looking for new land because that's a lot of money to raise. And so we want kind of. But if it would come up that there would be land around that people would want to sell, we would certainly take the opportunity to try to raise the funds for that. But that's a lot of money and a lot of work, and we have enough to do kind of with our center right now.
So the land is native prairie, so any acquisition of property, you're looking for land that's still native or always has been native? Is that?
Yeah, that's best because that is the habitat that is disappearing quite fast, is the native prairie that's never been plowed before. There isn't a lot of it around. Most of it's been taken up in other areas. And so we kind of have to look at the best areas to protect because we want to use the funds that we raise wisely. And so it'd be best if the areas that we kind of look at or could obtain to be, native tallgrass prairie, really good quality areas.
So what kind of migratory birds then and animals are attracted to this kind of native prairie?
Oh gosh, well Audubon is all about birds. And so with the native tallgrass prairie, we kind of focus on the birds that need kind of larger expanses of treeless areas. And these are, so summertime, we think of birds like bobolinks and grasshopper sparrows and dickcissels, field sparrows, these types of birds that need larger areas of grasslands to reproduce well.
Okay.
And in the spring and fall, we can get the regular migrants of the orioles and bluebirds and warblers that come through spring and fall. But then there are birds right now that are coming through like long spurs, some Sprague's pipits are coming through. We've had a short-eared owl or two. So there are some uncommon, unique birds that come through because there aren't this many areas of tallgrass prairie left in this area. And so people want to see these kind of specialized birds. Spring Creek Prairie is one place that they can come and see those.
So you're talking about the expanse that's needed. So these are particular, these birds like the open space of the native prairie?
That's right. They dislike trees. They much prefer the open areas of just mainly grass and flowers.
Okay.
They're not a forest bird. They're not a bird that goes along riparian areas of streams or such. They like open grasslands. They feel safe there. That's where they raise their young.
So you don't attract birds that like the forest, so to speak?
Well, we're always going to have trees at Spring Creek, but we'll kind of keep them along the Spring Creek area of the stream. And so there will always be some trees, but we do try to keep the trees out of the native prairie areas itself, because that's, like I said, that's the habitat that is dwindling in our area.
Kevin, this is really interesting. We appreciate you sharing this with us, and we look forward to when this trail gets developed all the way into Pioneers Park.
So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to ride the bike between the two areas. I'm really happy to be here, so I appreciate it very much.
Kevin, thanks a lot for being with us. We appreciate you coming in. Remember, it's never too late to live and learn about the opportunities to observe and enjoy nature in our area.
Aging Partners has relocated to Victory Park, 600 South 70th Street, just east of the old VA hospital. Follow the signs around the south part of the building complex and enter under the Aging Partners sign on the east side of the facility. The new fitness center is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and fitness equipment. Caseworkers and resource specialists are available to assist you with a variety of aging issues. Enjoy a hot lunchtime meal and engage with others in a variety of activities. Aging Partners, now at Victory Park.
You are looking at a statue of Ponca Chief Standing Bear along Centennial Mall. It's one of the many statues of Standing Bear, including one at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live and Learn. I am your host, Jerry Renaud, and we want to talk about Chief Standing Bear today in any number of fashion. One of the things that we certainly want to talk about is the fact that there is a new public high school in Lincoln, Nebraska. It is the very first one that has ever been named after an individual, and that individual is Ponca Chief Standing Bear. Lots of interesting significance to that, and a wonderful story, obviously, about Standing Bear. And here to talk to us about all things Standing Bear and all things Native Americans going on in our area is Joe Starita. And I can go down a whole wonderful litany of things that you are. You're a professor emeritus. You are a wonderful journalist. You are an author of any number of books. One of those, I Am a Man, about Chief Standing Bear. You're a member of the Northeast Hall of Fame Athletic Department, and a good friend. Joe, thanks for coming by.
My pleasure. Never pass up an opportunity to speak about one of the most courageous Nebraskans that we have ever produced. So thank you for the invitation.
One of the interesting things I find, and kind of depressing at times as well, is people don't know about Standing Bear in some instances. When we were both at the university, and we had a building that was right on Centennial Mall, and we would have students that would come by thinking they might like to come to the university, and we'd give them tours, and I would say, and of course this is Chief Standing Bear with the statue, and they would go, I don't know who that is. And I think it's sad because he is such an important person in our history. Give us, for those people maybe who need a little bit of a reminder, who is this man?
Well, and the good news is that that profile of Standing Bear is being elevated day by day. Chief Standing Bear was one of the chiefs of the Ponca tribe who had lived for more than 200 years on their beautiful homeland in the Niobrara River Valley, when lo and behold, one day out of the blue, a strange white man from the East Coast, of all places, the Upper East Side of New York, a man who knew nothing about Indians in general or the Ponca specifically, showed up in their winter village with the astounding announcement that the Great White Father wanted all of the 750 Ponca camped in their winter village, a group of people who had made it a sacred pledge that none of them had ever harmed a white man. He wanted all of them to pack up as fast as they could and move from this beloved homeland where they had lived for 2 centuries and walk 550 miles in the dead of winter to Oklahoma, to the territory that would become Oklahoma. Now, we know as Nebraskans that no Nebraskan is going to move to Oklahoma under any circumstances, not then, not now, not ever. Standing Bear and the other chiefs said, hell no, we won't go. And then they brought in the military, they cut off the food, they cut off the water. The very young and the very old were beginning to die. They had no choice. So they began a forced march that the Ponca referred to as the Ponca Trail of Tears, in which they walked from the South Dakota-Nebraska border to Oklahoma. Many died along the route. The first year they were there, a third of the tribe died. In December, Christmas week, 1877, Standing Bear's only son, a 16-year-old boy by the name of Bear Shield, lay dying on a cheap, dank army canvas tent, and he begged his father before his eyes closed in death to take his body back to their beloved homeland and bury him in their sacred white chalk bluffs along the Niobrara, Missouri River. And Standing Bear promised that he would do it. So in January of 1879, into the face of a Canadian blizzard, he and 29 others began walking 550 miles back home to honor this deathbed pledge with little money, little food, and little winter clothing, at a time when the government of the United States had entered into 371 treaties with the Native American people, and they had broken all 371. But Standing Bear was not going to break the pledge he had made his son. So they walked one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time. They would dig tunnels into haystacks on the Kansas plains to keep from freezing, put the old people and the very young in there at night, rummage for field corn during the day. And eventually they got within 2 days of the sacred burial grounds. They were caught, they were marched to Fort Omaha, and that set in motion one of the great stories, not only in Nebraska history, but one of the great stories in American history. Standing Bear and 29 people who were barely alive. General Crook came out of his headquarters and watched as women had just skin hanging off of their elbows that looked like clumps of charred bacon because they were so severely frostbitten. And this set in motion General Crook having to decide whether or not to follow the orders he'd been given by his commander in Chicago, Lieutenant General Philip Sheridan, who had once remarked, "The only good Indian is a dead Indian,"
Right.
or follow his civilian conscience, his humanitarian conscience. Sending them back, which was the orders, would have been a death sentence, and he could not really, in the end, do that. So he saddled up his horse in the middle of the night and rode 3 miles south under cover of darkness, knocked on the door of the local reporter for what would become the Omaha World Herald, and said, "Thomas Henry Tibbles, I think I got a story that you'll be interested in." And Tibbles was. Long story short, Tibbles starts writing about it. The two most prominent lawyers in Omaha, read about the story, and they say, "I want a piece of this." And they decide to sue the United States government on behalf of Standing Bear, something had never been done before. 22 years earlier, Dred Scott, a slave, had gone to a federal court in St. Louis and sued the government of the United States for his freedom. The United States Supreme Court decreed that no Negro has any rights that a white man is bound to respect. And they rebuffed Dred Scott's lawsuit to become a free man. But in 1879, on the corner of 15th and Dodge Streets in Omaha, Nebraska, a grizzled Indian-hating judge by the name of Elmer Dundee was so struck by the story of this chief who only wanted to bury his son and had walked 500 miles in the dead of winter to do so, he ruled in favor of Standing Bear and declared for the first time in the 103-year history of the United States that from that point forward, Native Americans would be considered as a person within the meaning of the law with some of the same constitutional protections as the more fortunate white race. And this had never been done before. A Native American had never had access to an American court, had never sued the government of the United States and won. Standing Bear was released, continued his journey, buried his son, and in the last couple of years, his status, his profile has been elevated dramatically. When Standing Bear was walking in the dead of winter through Oklahoma, through Kansas, into Nebraska, he never could have imagined that one day a statue of him would appear in the United States Congress. And from the person who operates Statuary Hall, he says that is the most popular statue in Statuary Hall. Out of 100 statues, the ones that the school children and the buses that pull up day after day after day, the ones they are attracted to and gravitate towards, out of 100 statues, each state gets, each of the 50 states gets 2. The one that is the most dynamic and pulls the most people in is the statue of Standing Bear. He could have never imagined he was a statue in the United States Congress on Centennial Mall, that he would one day become a stamp, that he would become a book, that he would become a movie. And so this is all good for Native people. Native people need their own heroes. They don't need the cheap stereotypes like Tonto and all of the other dime store novels. They need, you can't be what you can't see. And for these 16-year-old kids on the Pine Ridge Reservation, on the Omaha Reservation, on the Winnebago Reservation, on every reservation in the United States, for those Native children to have a hero of their own, and that's what Standing Bear has become. If you list everything that we admire as Americans, love of country, love of family, love of homeland, integrity, courage, honor, bravery, go down the entire list of things Americans value. Standing Bear checks every box.
Yeah, and I'm really seemingly incredible in a lot of ways, and I hope people aren't just sort of dismissing the fact that we have a high school named after this man. What do you think the significance of that really says about?
Number one, I am so proud of the Lincoln School Board for getting rid of the directional options for high schools and naming a Lincoln Public School after an American Indian chief. That is just an extraordinary statement on the part of the visionaries who saw that this would be a really good thing to do. This is a great Nebraskan.
Yeah.
We name things after great Nebraskans. And to understand that a Native American who not long ago was considered subhuman is now the face of a new public school in Nebraska. And for all of those students who walk through those doors every day, for them to realize we are going to a school that is named in honor of a true hero. Who does this?
Yeah.
Who walks 550 miles in the dead of winter with no food, clothing, or money to honor a deathbed pledge to their only son? Now,
Right.
if you can't honor that and you can't be motivated by that and you can't name somebody a school or a building or a statue in honor of somebody with that kind of courage, I mean, this is one of the most courageous Nebraskans that we've ever had. So why wouldn't we honor him in every way we can? And I think those children, particularly the native and non-native children,
Yeah.
the benefits of and the pride to walk into a school named after someone as courageous, as heroic, as a loving father, as a leader of his people. Why would you not name a school after somebody like that?
Right. And as we talk about pride, you have written a book, I Am a Man, which is the story of Chief Standing Bear. It's a wonderful story. If you haven't read it, we encourage you to do so. Now they're thinking about a movie.
Yeah.
What can you tell us? I mean, I know it's a lot of details and Hollywood folderol, but what can you tell us?
Well,
about
there's
it?
a lot of good things going on in terms of taking the story of Standing Bear that has been revealed in the form of a statue, in the form of a stamp, in the form of a book, in the form of the name of a school. And now there is a very strong possibility that Standing Bear also will become a movie. A very talented Irish director by the name of Jim Sheridan, who's been nominated for 6 Academy Awards and won one for a movie called My Left Foot.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis got best. That was Jim Sheridan's movie. He flew from Dublin to Los Angeles last week, and he and a co-writer are going to hunker down for the next 6 weeks. Jim Sheridan, this famous Irish director with 6 Academy Award nominations, is obsessed with the story of Standing Bear. And he should be. The narrative arc of this story is so powerful, and it will make Nebraska look so good.
Oh, yeah.
If this movie is made, and it looks like it is going to be made, because Sheridan and another co-writer are going to spend the next 6 weeks in LA merging their 2 versions of the screenplay together, and it's going to happen, it sounds like. Their goal is to get this screenplay tweaked to their perfection and then start casting and start shooting as early as this spring.
Wow.
And hope to have it wrapped up in a year.
Before we run out of time, 2 really quick things I want to talk about, because I think these are really important. Skateboard park that you have been working on for Native Americans, and also a project with Lincoln Public Schools.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time on the Omaha Reservation because I also wrote a book about the first Native American doctor in American history, Susan LaFlesche, who was a member of the Omaha tribe. On March 14th, 1889, this woman, who was born in a buffalo hide teepee on the western high plains of Nebraska, walked across the stage in Philadelphia to accept her medical degree, becoming the first Native American, male or female, in the history of our country to become a Native doctor. And she was from the village of Walt Hill in the middle of the Omaha Reservation. And there is a lot going on there, and one of the things that you find out about the Omaha Reservation is it's in Thurston County. It is the poorest county of Nebraska's 93 counties with the highest suicide rate. Susan LaFlesche believed passionately the best medicine was fresh air and sunshine. And I, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, decided one of the things that this reservation would really benefit from is a skateboard park. Every time I would go to the Pine Ridge Reservation and see the skateboard park there, it looked like an ant colony. I don't care what time of year it was. It was just swarming with skateboarders. And so we raised $400,000. We got the best skateboard design company in the country out of Joplin, Missouri, to come. And it's just, this is a sentence that's just amazing to me, is we got funding from very well-pocketed, deep-pocketed, white institutions in Omaha to fund this skateboard park. And the design company in Joplin, Missouri hired a Mexican immigrant construction firm out of San Bernardino, California, to come and build a skate park in the middle of an Omaha Indian reservation in Nebraska. And the Omaha Indian people and the Mexican migrants from San Bernardino, California, fell in love with one another. So you had white money from Omaha hiring Mexican laborers from California to build a skate park in an American Indian reservation. There aren't many countries that you can make that sentence about.
No, that's true.
And they built this beautiful skate park, and it is being used by everybody on the reservation. There are white kids on border communities who are coming in because they don't have a skate park, and they're using it, and they're forming friendships. What had happened on February of 2020, there were 23 suicide attempts on the Omaha reservation in one night.
Oh my.
And 6 of them succeeded. And what this skateboard has done is it's gotten these teenage kids out of their bedrooms, out of their sweatpants, out of watching these violent video games and then hanging themselves. And it's got them out on the skateboard, where in the best tradition of Susan LaFleche, they're getting a lot of fresh air, a lot of sunshine. Yep. They're making social relationships. They're getting away from the video games. They're falling down and banging up their knees and learning that you have to get up and keep moving. They're making friends from white border communities that they never would have met. So the skateboard has just been good medicine. And Susan would have been really proud of getting all of the fresh air and sunshine that these Omaha teenagers are now getting.
Very cool.
The teachers at Wall Hill High School, we got, when this article ran in the Flatwater Free Press, we got more than 150 skateboards donated from all over the United States. Wow. Skateboards came in from Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Tacoma, Washington, San Diego. The teachers at Wall Hill High School would take these skateboards, prop them up on the blackboard, and use them incentives to get students to do a better job on their Shakespeare essay or to do a better job on their math test. And whoever got the highest score would get one of these beautiful new skateboards that was still in the wrapper that donors had sent from San Diego or Tacoma or Atlanta, Georgia. And so it's just been a really great success. And there's a new thing going on in Lincoln Public Schools that has the endorsement of the superintendent, who's wildly excited about it. And what's going to happen is a committee is going to form a Native American focus group within Lincoln Public Schools. Now, Lincoln Public Schools has had an arts and humanities focus program for quite a while. They have the zoo school, the science program, and within the next year or so, if everything goes according to plan, it looks like it is, they're going to have a Native American focus program that will be open to natives and non-natives. And they will be taught their own culture and their own history and their own identity. One of the things that's going to be housed at Lincoln High, and like one of the things that could happen is there will be a garden built at Lincoln High that the students will plant the sacred plants of their ancestors. They'll plant holy sage. They will plant the medicine plants that their great-great-great-grandmothers used to cure diarrhea and asthma and the flu from this garden of sacred plants that now will be at Lincoln High School and will help them shore up their identity and give them a stronger sense of who they are, because they have been told who they are by white Americans for the last 200 years, but we want to give them an opportunity for Native teachers to create a Native curriculum to bring back their cultural identity. We have done research and discovered that there's really no other program like this in the United States, so we think if we do this right, this could serve as a national model for the entire country. So that's also a very exciting prospect.
Suppose they'd let me back in. I want to go do this.
Yeah, I
It
think
sounds-
they probably would. You got
sounds
any,
great.
any farmer genes in your blood?
Oh,
Or-
yeah. Well,
Yeah, we'll get you planting some of that sacred sage.
very cool. Joe, thank you so much for coming by. It's always a pleasure. Come back maybe in the spring. We'll talk about the movie a little bit more if things
would be
really
great.
pan out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and I'll take you up on that. And I'm so happy for the Native people that they have a chance to, like I said, have a hero of their own, and what that means to these 15, 16, and 17-year-olds to be able to have an authentic hero of their own. It means the world to their identity and to their physical health and to their mental health. So let's hope that we go from historic journey to book to statue to stamp to movie.
That'd be wonderful. Joe,
would
thanks
be.
again.
You're
And
most
thanks to
welcome.
all of you for tuning in today. I'm your host, Jerry Renaud. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and it's never too late to live and learn.